Hi, folks. I'm Alexandra August. We're here with CBR and Zachary Levi, star of DC's Shazam.
All of that is correct.
All of that is correct. We had a stumble a minute ago. My question about Shazam, you're no stranger to genre work.
Nope.
What about Shazam was different? What about that? What made Shazam special in your body of work?
Well, I mean, I think Shazam is a really special property. First of all, for the lineage, the heritage. I mean, starting as Captain Marvel back in 1939. As essentially a Superman ripoff,
right?
But then
it's
outsold.
like kind of naked.
It is, right? But then outsold Superman in the comics. Actually started outselling Superman, which is, I think, why then DC sued Fawcett, because there were other Superman copycats and they didn't care about them, but they did
successful
care.
ones.
Exactly.
Wait a minute now.
Exactly. So and then ended up absorbing Fawcett and absorbing the character of Captain Marvel, and then sat on it, didn't re-up the trademark, then Marvel got Captain Marvel, and now I'm Shazam. But that's a long lineage. It's a lot of fans. I mean, I've met quite a few even this weekend, who have been fans since it was Captain Marvel. And,
wow.
There's I don't know, there's a lot of power in that. And I think and an onus on us to do right by that and pay homage at least to the history of it. So there's that. A lot of other characters that have come up in all of comicdom aren't nearly as old as that. But also...
Yeah, the X-Men are like teenagers.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But I do think it's interesting. This premise is kind of almost like the most iconic of all wish fulfillment premises. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yet for whatever reason, only now is this movie being made. But haven't we all sat around as children wishing that we had the ability to just magically transform into our super self?
Just children?
Well,
like
and
right now.
Oh, no.
Right now.
Trust me, some days I wake up and I'm still hoping that my genetics are mutating and I'll be able to, I was a big X-Men fan, X Factor, X Force, X everything. And that's one of the things I think we love about that franchise is that it just kind of happens. It's like you were normal and then you mutated. It's an actual genetic mutation.
Okay. What is your mutant power? If you have a mutant power,
teleportation, 100%. I mean, if I had to pick one power, it's teleportation. I've
Yeah.
said this many times. It's the most helpful in life. It's the most convenient. Teleportation is essentially, if you do it correctly, it's also flight, because you could teleport incrementally, right? I could teleport like millimeters at a time, and if I'm really good at it, I'm now flying. I'm literally just flying.
I feel like you'd also use it to actually get through something solid if you did it quick enough.
Yeah.
That you could move at a fast enough speed. I didn't take physics, but in my head that
No.
works.
Well, physics isn't going to help you understand the superpower of teleportation. Let me tell you. But no, but also based on what we've learned from teleportation in all of the comics, whatever you're touching comes with you. So theoretically, with 10 fingers and 10 toes, I could bring, a bunch of my friends. Each friend could touch a finger. I could put my toes on a bunch of bags, and we could all be in Bermuda
I feel like
in no time.
iPad in the chair.
Exactly.
And like the couch.
Exactly.
You could steal
and
so
if
much
you're
stuff.
flying, you could steal all kinds of stuff. I would not be stealing, though. I wouldn't be using it for bad. I would only be using it for good, or at least what I call good, which might be bad for other people. But that's a different story.
It gets murky.
It gets a little murky. It's a little gray. But Shazam is the kind of classic. It's almost like Grecian almost, in that it's like you're a normal person who says a word, it's a magic word, and all of a sudden now you are imbued with magical superpowers.
You get bigger, you get more
Yeah,
powerful.
fast and strong and all of these things. And so I think that there's something so incredibly classic that's wrapped up in that, but also the very pure, unjaded wish fulfillment of a pure-hearted kid who really is just trying to make his way in the world and find love, find his family. And this all-powerful wizard sees in this kid something that nobody else sees, and therefore, because of that, rewards him, and then he gets to be Earth's mightiest mortal. And I think it's just so awesome. It's so cool to be able to take that on. And again, being a bit of a man-child, I don't want to say it's second nature because I'm still an adult, obviously, but it's something that I feel like I've always kind of been. I've always tapped into that. I really am grateful that however I was created in this world is something that's lending itself to bringing this character to life. And also with David Sandberg, be our director from the genre world, he's going to give it so much cool grit and edge and, the darkness. And
it is so exciting to have somebody come from such a cool horror background.
Oh,
do
yeah.
something that is so shiny and so optimistic
Yeah.
as Shazam, because I feel like there's kind of darkness necessary in optimism just to have it be real.
Sure.
And I'm wondering, did he play with that at all?
Yeah, I mean,
If that's clear.
it's
sorry.
a balance. It's a yes. I mean, you mean kind of the yin and the yang of the darkness and light. I mean, 100%. That stuff is all very infused into the story, as well as so many other parts of the narrative. I think we got really lucky because the story itself just lends itself to being family friendly, because it's about a kid and really a bunch of kids, in this foster home. So it can't get too dark. It can't go to those places just in its own nature. But you do have to balance it. So David was, very much trying to find all those areas, because otherwise, if you base it off, really old school Captain Marvel, it's a lot of gee whizzes and holy molies, which may or may not make a few little Easter egg cameos in the movie. You'll have to find out April 5th. But, that can get real slapsticky really quick if that's the content of the movie.
Yeah.
That said, there are other superheroes that are super dark and very brooding, and they're kind of, I gotta save the world again. And Billy Shazam is like, well, I get to fly. Like, this is so much fun. This is awesome. There's an enthusiasm behind him that just comes. And it's like, I can only think of two characters really and off the top of my head, which are Billy Batson and Peter Parker. Those are the only two that I know of that are stoked to be superheroes.
That have so much, like, Batman does not enjoy the toys that he has. He's
No,
just like,
no.
and I have a thing.
Well, his parents were murdered in front of him. I mean, it's a very difficult thing to enjoy
We all have
your
our
toy
stuff.
plane when you're like, oh, my dad gave this to me. Oh, God.
So speaking of the length, the breadth of the Shazam legacy and Captain Marvel, what do you think makes it resonant particularly today?
Ooh. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I think the purity of it. I think that while we all like, seeing movies that challenge us with their kind of the darker underbelly of life, and we need to shine lights on those things and tell those stories, there's a lot of heaviness in the world. And I think that, it's really beautiful when you can go and cheer for a character that just got a good heart, that really does mean well, and they're trying to find their way in the world, and we need heroes. We that's why I think we flock to superhero movies. We want to see ourselves in them. We do see ourselves in them, but we also feel kind of inspired and more hopeful that there is good in the world that is vanquishing the evil of the world, that is standing up for the everyman and going and trying to make a difference. But again, also it's the wish fulfillment. Other characters other superheroes you don't necessarily, I don't know, it's difficult to see yourself in those shoes. But Billy Batson is every kid. He's every kid. I mean, again, when we're 14 or younger or adults still, we're still having that, like, wouldn't it be so cool if? And Billy Batson is the manifestation of that. Wouldn't it be so cool if you were just transported to a magical dimension and a wizard says, I pick you, and boom, now you get to go fly.
Poor
and
Mark Strong.
Shoot. Yeah, poor Mark Strong. Yeah. Well, you know what? That's what happens when you're English. You play the bad guy all the time.
And very chiseled. I feel like, it's too rigid.
He's got incredible cheekbones.
I know. You could cut something on them. I feel like that's why Jabba Hunter was just like, sorry. You don't have the right face for it. Thank you so much for being
My
here.
pleasure,
We're gonna we'll close it out there. Thank you again. Yeah, thank you
My
so
pleasure.
much.
Thank you so much.